Well, good morning, everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola. Thanks for joining us on yet another one of our shows, Osceola Matters. Today, very special guest, and that would be Peggy Choudhry, County Commissioner, District 1. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you? Thank
Doing
you so
great.
much for having me on the show.
Glad to have you. You're busy, and so we're super glad that we could make schedules match. And
No, I'm so happy we're doing this. It's great.
that's good. That's good. Loving the color of your shirt.
Oh, thank you. I love it. All different colors. I try to get all different colors. So.
That's a cool thing, right? So it was the same color every time you wear an Osceola County shirt. Well,
yeah,
not good. So how's life in general? Pretty good.
it's good. It's been really, really hot outside. So the summer has been kind of crazy, just getting situated. And of course, with my daughter, trying to just see what's last minute things we could do before she starts school again. I'm sure all parents are the same right now with getting ready for school, getting things going, going shopping and getting the things we need. But yeah, it's been really good, just keeping busy. I think that now, as you know, a lot of us are meeting face to face a little bit and just trying to get back into the swing of things. And that, of course, takes some time.
It does. I think some of the ways we do things maybe are better options in a way. For us, we get to speak to people like yourself. It's hard to have schedules match up, so somebody comes to you here, you meet there. We love doing it, but it's challenging, and we found this was one of the wins. It's always the end user that makes things acceptable or not acceptable. And so, we did a lot of live work in our studio or on location, but this really works for a lot of people that are ultra busy. You can slide in a quick 15 minutes.
No, so. And I think that's what the pandemic has taught us, right? Kind of like maneuvering time because you're able to do the videos now a lot more frequent. It's more accepted. Although don't get me wrong, I love the face-to-face. I love being in person. I think that's just so much more fun, and you really get to know people better that way. But of course, if you have to, you're doing the videos, and I'm okay with it now. I got more used to it. I think I'm learning the technology more, which at first was really challenging, but I think I'm getting the hang of it and starting to get used to it more and more. So I'm more comfortable now.
Yeah, it feels normal. The only thing you can't do after meetings is like, hey, you grab 2 or 3 people and go, hey, let's go down the street, get something to eat. That doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Maybe that's good. Who knows? But we've got some people popping on. So why don't I go ahead and, if I can find it, let's go ahead and go get it, make it official. All right.
Let's do it.
All right. It's so often about coffee, and
I love that coffee thing. That
I know it works for me. It's like people say, "Is that just a prop?" And I'm like, "No, this is a real resource." Now today, I have this weird cup called Hydes of Liverpool.
I see it,
and it's actually I happen to be in cooler weather than you are right now, just for a few days, and way upstate New York. And in Liverpool, New York, there's this infamous hot dog stand. It should be on like the Guy Fieri, diners, drive-ins and dive show, but
cool.
It should be, but it won't ever be. It's just hot dogs, and it's awesome hot dogs. Anyway, thank you again for being here. I'm of course with Osceola County Commissioner from District 1, Commissioner Peggy Choudhry. A little bit about the Commissioner. Peggy Choudhry was born in Providence, Rhode Island. Not everybody knows that. Community service has always been a passion for the Commissioner. When she was 13, she became the youngest founder to a nonprofit organization focused on helping keep kids off the streets. Throughout her high school and college years, she was kept busy by helping her community. Peggy was one of the first Feinstein Scholars, given the recognition for her compassion, dedication to public service, and determination for making a positive difference in the lives of others. After college, she took a position with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security as an immigration officer, and within a short time was promoted to adjudications officer with Citizenship and Immigration Services in the Orlando District Office. After several years of service with the federal law enforcement, Peggy decided to follow in her father's footsteps and become a business owner. And I could say as I was reading some of that, some things have not changed. You're certainly an advocate for people and service and communities to this day. I mean, I think that would be people how I think that's how people would describe your service now, which is a great thing to have said.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I've always loved it. I think I grew a passion for it just because I've seen growing up, I just seen that people helped us, throughout our community, because my parents didn't speak the language, and they had to learn English, and I had a lot of guidance from great teachers and from great organizations growing up. And I think if I didn't have that guidance, I'm not sure where I would be. And so
right.
I think it's always important to give back. And so at a young age, I just knew that community is important. And so for me, that's always been a huge passion. So I just continue doing it. I love it.
Yeah, you think about it, it's automatic to you. It feels good to me and my wife, and so that's the way you go with things. But I don't know how you do business without trying to know who you're doing business with, and the other businesses around you, and just how things flow where you're living and working. And I think there's no better way than to serve, But that is, I'm preaching to the choir. That's your deal. So, in that light, you got something great going on Saturday. Why don't you go ahead and let us know what that is?
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, it's another year for school, and parents are probably going crazy getting ready, just like I am as a parent.
Right.
But we're here to help, and so I'm doing another back to school, of course, giveaway of backpacks and supplies. And I love partnering with our amazing organizations around our county. One being, of course, the Salvation Army, which I'm a huge advocate because they provide so much assistance and services. But what's most important, they also collaborate and work with so many of our great nonprofits, like the Counseling on Aging and so many others, to say the least. It's great to see many organizations come together. And I just love to partner with them to do these type of events, because not only do they understand which families need it most, but they work with the families also day in and day out. And so it's important for me to always partner with them. So I love doing this every single year. As you can see, we have several partners, including corporate partners.
Sure.
And so for me, it's exciting to just get together. And I just want to thank the sponsors, such as Walmart, that's provided so many of the bags, FTC, the Florida Technical College, which has provided supplies and has helped to put together backpacks for several years now. And so and Embrace Florida, Embrace Celebration, that's also a nonprofit that's helped. Staples had joined us just now for a couple of years, providing some more supplies. It's just, again, it's just wonderful for people to come together, and the Salvation Army at their location has been wonderful for that. So we're going to have, it's a drive-through, like we've been famously doing now all through the pandemic. We're continuing that. It's actually a faster process.
Yes.
Helps because we can just put it in the back, and there's no issues with getting too close. We still social distancing, and of course now we still got to be cautious, and so we're doing all of that. So it's pretty cool. So we'll be there tomorrow, early morning, and it is first come first serve, and it's until supplies last.
Right.
We have about 1,000 backpacks.
Wow.
Lots of supplies and some other knickknacks and stuff like that. I know the Salvation Army is going to be doing some more things, and so so we would love the parents to come. Don't forget, though, there's a few rules, and one of it is make sure your child's with you.
Right.
Yes. So if you've got 3 kids, please bring them, because that way we could provide the backpacks. That's the only way to get them. We want to make sure that we're being fair and we're giving to every single family that needs it.
What hit me on, you were saying, you're trying to get that last bit of time in with your kids before school starts, and summer just flies by, and it never ceases to amaze any of us. So we realize it's like school ends and an hour later school starts. But this year it's complicated still as we endure some more of the pandemic effect on families, businesses, everyone in the world. But what you haven't done is you haven't let that get in the way of making sure that each student has exactly what they need on that first day of school.
Yes.
it's not.
It's really important. I mean, when we think about it, I mean, now is a time we've all gone through so much stress with the pandemic.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. We've all had to change the way we live, right? And we've had to adapt with our children, with our families, as how we have to make these changes together. Coordinating in the household, doing videos, having our children learn through computer. It has been a challenge for all of us. So I think the very least, continuing doing whatever services we could provide as a county, and going out to our communities and making sure that the bare necessities are met, so that that's one less stress of a parent and one less stress that they have to worry about, especially when it comes to supplies and it comes to things that are really needed, right, for the kids to go back to school. And even if the kids decide to stay at home, they still need supplies. I mean, I know this firsthand. I still need to get things for my daughter. So it's still a need, and whatever we can do to alleviate some of that stress, that's what we're here for, and this is going to help out, I'm hoping, so much, and help the families, just try to coordinate and getting back to school.
I was speaking to Jeremy Lanier just a few hours ago with the Florida Department of Health in Osceola County.
Yes.
It's kind of similar with the county, and I mean, from my perspective, the county commissioners, where you take the job as a commissioner, you earn the job in an election, and you say, okay, here we go, and let's just, as an added thing, we're going to have a pandemic for most of the
right. Yeah, right.
But
so and they've been great. Our health department, Jeremy, all of the employees, I mean, they've been amazing. They're out there every day, doing what they have to do, and while others are able to stay home, they're out there and working every day. Again, our first responders, our first line workers, and I just want to again thank them, because there's no amount of thanks that we can give for all the stuff they're doing, and all the efforts to make sure we're all safe and make sure that we don't get sick, right? More and more. So.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and it's the county commissioner's job as well. I mean, you add the management and distribution of finances into everything you typically would have been doing. It's not an easy job. I think, I'm a community member. I'm not a commissioner, but it's slightly easy to see. This is a big county district. All the districts, it's huge. Not all the counties in Florida are this huge. We have a specific complexity to our county, as it's very different. You have a tourism sector, an ag sector, and everything in between.
It is. And I think people forget, we're growing every single day as this pandemic continues. And we're growing, and we're still, having so many families coming from different places and moving here. That's great. But again, it's a challenge always for any county, right? How is it that we meet all these demands? We've got to make sure that we're helping not just our residents that have been here for years and years, but our new residents coming in. And so we want to be fair, but we want to make sure we're accurate and we're helping and assisting where we need to. And like you said, financially, we need to be sure we're giving the support, we're distributing the funds. And I'll tell you, I'm so proud of our staff. They've been amazing and throughout this whole year. It is not easy. I know that sometimes, sitting in the background, sometimes people can criticize and say things, and that's okay. Yeah. But it's really hard to do the day in and day out. And so I just want to thank our staff and of course my board. They've been great. We've all been coordinating and working together to just make sure that our county is taken care of during this pandemic, because at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? As leaders, we just have to make sure that we coordinate and work together in order for our community to move forward. And that's what we're doing. And so I'm proud of that.
I'm happy for you. You're certainly, your district was impacted negatively, no question, with the tourism aspect where you are. And so that's been a challenge for sure. So many people work in the service industry, as we know, and a lot of that is within your district area. So, you've done a great.
Thank you for mentioning that. One of the things that people forget is we've got some amazing corporations in tourism. I mean, from our hotels to our bodegas to, the little stores, the big stores, to our wonderful attractions, to our wonderful partners, all of them during this pandemic stepped up to the plate. We had amazing companies come out and help and assist, not just their employees, but also our residents in different ways. And so sometimes that's not always announced, right? That's not always in the media, and that's not always said, but it happened. And that to me shows our unified efforts, regardless of whatever disagreements we may have politically, right? Because people always think, oh, politics plays a role in things. Yeah, but when it comes to something like a pandemic, Osceola County came together, and that's the most important. Our tourism industry partnered and helped not just our employees, but helped our community by donating not just funding, but donating lots of supplies, providing emergency equipment, providing masks, sanitation to other places and to organizations, to our nonprofits that were in need of it at the time. And so they all came together, and that's important for people to know. And so I just want to thank also the corporations and in my district. I'm so proud of everyone because they truly stepped up to the plate, and that's what it's all about, right? I mean, when there's a tragedy that happens or there's something that happens that people need help, I know for a fact, not just my district, but the entire county, we have people that will step up to the plate, and those are our corporations, our organizations, our leaders, and that's very important.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Something I've said before, the county became very, very, just very good at preparing for what we always would think of as the toughest scenario for our state, which is going to be hurricane season. So we got very good at communicating, got very good at, I'm speaking about the county and all the associated organizations. Great job in preparing, Emergency Operations Center with Bill Litton, doing a great job out there, making sure for tropical storms, any unforeseen weather events, obviously hurricanes. That was the big thing. And looking at them, they're kind of finite, right? The preparation and the reaction after those storms, those are somewhat finite to some degree, where this pandemic has been ongoing.
Right.
Call for a different kind of management, and the county's done a bang up job getting through this elongated struggle. So have you seen that as, how has that affected your district, having it be a longer duration of struggle?
It's definitely a learning curve for me. You're right. Remember, we have an emergency group that deals with hurricanes, and that's at a time frame, right? Maybe a week at the most, maybe, but it was never a year, right? So now it's about learning. It was about not just taking action like we did, but learning what works best. And I'm hoping we don't have ever this happen again for another 100 years.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it was definitely something that we did. I think we responded to the best of our abilities. I think we learned from some of the things, and we curved things around and said, this is a better fit. This is a better way of doing it, especially when it comes to communication. I think a lot of people were like, Osceola County, what's going on? People wanted to know that, of course, they needed to know step by step, every single day, every 30 minutes if possible.
Right. Exactly.
And so just getting the message out and stuff, and even no matter how much we did, right? Getting the message out and going on TV, and I love emails. So I send emails. I have a lot of people on my email list, so I love sending out emails and letting people know, which a lot of people were so grateful for. But still, even I wanted to do more. Right? I was like, what else can I do? So you try to learn about, technology. What else can we do to get out there to make sure that people are getting the information immediately, every single second, so that they're fully aware of things. And they're not worried, because we are trying to take control. We are trying to make sure that every single emergency matter is met in our county, and that we're taking action immediately when something does happen. And the pandemic has been ongoing. And so it's taught us, hey, if there's something ongoing, what are the great things we can do? How do we maneuver? And I think that's actually a great thing to learn, right? We should learn this, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We never knew it happened. and so no other, even politicians in the past, like I ask them, has this ever happened? No, it's never happened, like something like this. So it's important to learn. And I think from the local level politics all the way up to the federal level, we've all had to do the best we can, and then maneuver when we've had to. And that's what's happening even now, right?
Yeah. I know I would watch, we would have, the county would have a press conference. And I think you really nailed it. I think sometimes people, I can remember the feedback in the community be like, okay, enough. I don't want to hear all that, different perspectives. But if you didn't do that, that would be a problematic scenario.
Right.
It would be.
Yeah. And some people want to know everything. Some
They
people
do.
are like, oh my God, I'm so tired of it. And they shut off the TV or something. That's okay.
That's
Because
okay.
I understand it. Listen, watching something every day can get you stressed out. Even today, right? Of numbers going up and what's happening and what's with the news.
Sure.
Again, it's like, you know, it can be stressful, especially going back to school. You know,
I
kids,
know.
my own daughter is like, Mom, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, so it's just a matter of getting the information.
It is.
Dissecting it the way that's best for you and your family, and then speaking to your children about it and going from there. I mean, that's all we can do. And then, of course, be ready, right?
Yeah.
And have everything you need. And you could count on us as a county to be there and to always try our best to meet the needs of our community to the best of our ability. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we're working on every single day.
No, that's perfectly communicated. No reason to say anything more after that from my end. Now, you mentioned before we sign off, you mentioned there was another event coming up. Maybe you want to mention.
Yeah, well, we're going to be doing a very first glow in the dark event in Osceola County. So as you know, I've got a student committee that meets every single month, and we talk a lot about what are the things they want to see and do in our community. And one of the things that they're helping me plan is something called Chalk Away Hate. And the kids today love to do chalking, and so they will be doing positive messages. We're going to have the floors and blocks, and they'll be able to write positive messages. But what's great about this is we added twists, right? So it could be fun. It's on a Friday evening, and it's going to start at 7:30 to 10 p.m. on August 27th. And
Awesome.
we purposely dated that because it's after the kids start school,
Right.
and so that kids could start school in a positive way. It is outside, so social distancing and all of that will be obviously recommended, and we're going to be doing. But what's great is like we will have the students taking photos, and every single post that they make on any of the social media platforms, they'll be able to get raffle tickets for free. And those raffle tickets will allow them to be in the raffle to win laptops, computers, Apple Watches, and things for school, of course,
Right.
that they could use. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. We also partnered with Luna Alliance, which is a group that is allowing the students to take photos in their booth and send those photos to the moon in 2022 and be the first on the moon digitally, of course.
Wow.
With a rocket being sent up there. It's really exciting. They'll be live there with astronaut suits. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And the Salvation Army is a charity of choice. They'll be there also, and they have been providing a lot of the gifts that are going to be raffled off also on stage. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But we want the kids to just start the school year in a positive form, sending positive messages and kindness, of course. And so this is going to be one of those events. So it's August 27th. It starts at 7:30, and we will be distributing address and all that information in the near future. And we'll have another interview about it.
Cool. Love it. And anything positive we're going to be attracted to, of course.
No, exactly. Positive.
That's great. That's exciting, big time. I love that. So we'll keep our calendars noted for that event for sure. And I'd love to have you back and talk about that. So probably going to sign off here in a second, but why don't you go ahead and give me a quick, just another reminder of what is happening tomorrow as far as the back to school.
Okay, so tomorrow it's going to be located at 700 Union Street. It starts early morning, as you see on the flyer, and we're going to be sure to distribute approximately 1,000 backpacks with supplies and lots of other knickknacks. It's going to be, again, at the Salvation Army in downtown Kissimmee. So just come early and be there with the kids. Don't forget, you have to have the kids with you in order to get the backpacks. I want to thank, again, all the sponsors and everyone that's provided all the supplies, and of course, all of us coming together to do this for our community.
Awesome. Well, that's great information, and I'm excited about both of your events. That's going to be a blast. So August will be another great month for District 1 for sure, and all the community that resides there. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Definitely.
Well, I know you're busy, and so we'll let you go, but I want to really say thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.
All right, again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, along with Osceola County Commissioner Peggy Choudhry of District 1. Together, we're making a positive difference in and around Osceola County.